What Will Smith does not deserve. He does not deserve.
Will Smith has long been the subject of public fascination, and much of the focus over the years has revolved around his tumultuous relationship with wife Jada Pinkett Smith. From their early days as one of Hollywood's most admired couples to the public unraveling of their marriage, the Smiths have continually shared their personal lives with the world, often to their detriment. But in recent years, it seems Will Smith has reached a breaking point with the ongoing chaos stemming from Jada's unfiltered revelations and constant public commentary. At the center of this unraveling is the controversial red table talk and the candidness with which Jada has aired out her personal grievances, including the infamous entanglement with August Alsina. It's hard to ignore the idea that Will Smith doesn't deserve the treatment he's gotten, especially from the woman who he pledged his life to. There are so many questions that could be asked of Jada Pinkett Smith, questions that go beyond her love for Tupac and the infamous entanglement. Where's her compassion? Where's her respect for the man she married? Since 1997, when they made vows to stick together for better or worse, Jada's actions have often seemed at odds with the promises she made that day. While it's not uncommon for relationships to evolve and change, it's disheartening to see someone so publicly dismantle the image of a marriage that was once celebrated by fans and admired by many. The public always knew that Jada had her own ambitions, her own goals, and a sense of independence. But what has been increasingly troubling is how she continues to belittle the very person who has stood by her through thick and thin. Despite all the turmoil, Will has never openly disparaged Jada, but there are only so many punches a man can take before he reaches his limit. It's one thing for a relationship to face struggles behind closed doors, but when you air those struggles for the entire world to see, it can be toxic. Jada's willingness to share intimate details of their marriage for public consumption has eroded the respect many once had for her. Jada's latest bombshell revelation about their separation since 2016 only adds fuel to the fire of speculation about the Smiths' marriage. While she's not shy about sharing this information, many fans are questioning why she feels the need to continue airing out their business. Will, in particular, seems to be at his wit's end with the constant drama, and with good reason. Every time they give us a little snippet of their lives, it feels like they're using their marriage to stay relevant. It's as if, without the constant controversy, they wouldn't have anything left to offer the public. The Red Table Talk was a platform for Jada to express her thoughts, often sharing information that many found cringeworthy or just too much. From discussing how her grandmother taught her to self-pleasure at the age of 9 to the details of her relationship with August Alsina, Jada has crossed many boundaries in her pursuit of authenticity. While many have praised her for her candidness, others feel like it's all a bit too much. If the constant flow of personal information wasn't enough, Jada has also openly praised the idea of her husband's ex-wife, Cherie Zampino, joining them on vacations, a sentiment that left many viewers scratching their heads. She has made it clear that her approach to relationships is far from conventional, but it raises the question of where the line should be drawn when it comes to personal privacy. Will, meanwhile, has been the quiet support in this relationship. He's shown patience and understanding, but it seems to have come at a cost. While Jada has often claimed that their marriage was built on mutual respect and love, her actions have often suggested otherwise. The infamous entanglement with August Alsina, where Jada admitted to having an affair with her son's best friend while still married to Will, shook the public to its core. Jada's attempt to downplay it as a relationship during a Red Table Talk episode only added to the awkwardness of the situation. Will's presence during this conversation, where he sat and listened to his wife talk about how another man breathed life back into her, left a bad taste in the mouths of many viewers. The tension in the room was palpable, and it was clear that Will was hurting, but he didn't speak up. Instead, he went along with it, which only made things worse. The infamous slap at the Oscars in 2022 was another example of Will being dragged into a situation that was clearly not of his making. While many initially believed that Will's reaction to Chris Rock's joke about Jada's shaved head was driven by anger, it quickly became apparent that his actions were fueled by the years of pain and frustration he had been harboring. Will laughed at the joke initially, but changed his tune when he saw how upset Jada was. His reaction that night was emotional, but in hindsight, it was clear that Will had been pushed to his breaking point. Jada's constant need to assert herself, even at the expense of her husband's dignity, was one too many times for Will to ignore. The damage done to Will's reputation after the Oscars was significant. People started questioning whether he was truly in control of his life, or if he had become a man who was simply trying to keep the peace, even if it meant sacrificing his own happiness. Jada's lack of acknowledgement for the emotional toll she had put on him only compounded the situation. While Jada was quick to make headlines with her revelations, she never seemed to publicly apologize or take accountability for the pain she had caused Will. Instead, she continued to justify her actions, claiming that her relationship with August Alsina was a form of healing for her. The problem, however, was that it seemed like she was just using Will to keep up appearances while she explored her own needs and desires outside of their marriage. For years, Will and Jada have been a symbol of the modern Hollywood couple, one that was supposed to defy the odds and show that a relationship could survive despite the pressures of fame. However, as time has gone on, it's become clear that their marriage has been far from ideal. Will's feelings of jealousy and insecurity about Jada's past relationship with Tupac have been widely discussed, and it's obvious that the shadow of Tupac still looms over their marriage. Jada has admitted that her connection with Tupac was unique, and that she had never experienced anything quite like it. However, it's troubling that she seems to still be holding on to this idealized version of Tupac, a man who is long gone and cannot be replaced. In many ways, Will always feel like he is in competition with a ghost, a competition he can never win. Jada's tendency to compare Will to Tupac is damaging, and it raises questions about whether she truly sees Will for who he is, or whether she is simply holding on to the memory of someone she will never fully let go of. Will has always been supportive of Jada's need for independence and her connection to Tupac, but the constant reminders of his place in her heart seem to be wearing thin. As the drama between Will and Jada continues to unfold, it's hard to shake the feeling that they are both stuck in a toxic cycle that they can't break out of. Will may have stayed in the marriage out of a sense of duty or fear of being alone, but at this point, it seems like the emotional toll is too much for him to bear. His recent comments about being worried that the Red Table Talk will make a comeback only add to the anxiety he's been feeling. He's been through so much public scrutiny over the years, and it's clear that he's at a breaking point. The question is, how much more can he take before he decides to walk away? Jada, on the other hand, seems ready to move forward on her own terms, regardless of how Will feels. She's spent so many years riding on the coattails of his fame, but now it seems like she's ready to take the reins. Whether this newfound independence will lead to happiness for her is yet to be seen, but it's clear that she no longer feels beholden to the marriage. The Red Table Talk, which was once a platform for them to share their journey, may now become a source of even more drama as Jada continues to reveal the details of their private lives. Will is clearly nervous about what that means for his family, but at this point, it seems like there's no stopping Jada from airing out their dirty laundry. There's a painful irony in the fact that Will Smith, one of Hollywood's biggest stars, is now seen as a man who stayed in a toxic relationship for far too long. People have long admired Will for his charm and success, but his struggles in his marriage have shown that even the most polished personas can hide deep pain. His journey through this public storm has made him the subject of ridicule for some, while others sympathize with him for staying in a marriage that seems to have been built on a foundation of dysfunction. No matter how hard Will tries to maintain his dignity, it feels like the world is watching his every move, and Jada isn't helping matters by continuously reopening old wounds. Jada's unapologetic approach to her marriage, her relationship with Tupac, and her ongoing quest for self-expression may be empowering for some, but for Will, it seems to have become an exhausting and painful experience. Will may have loved Jada deeply, but it's clear that the love isn't mutual in the same way. The constant drama and emotional manipulation have worn him down, and it's only a matter of time before he makes the difficult decision to move on for his own well-being. The question remains, will he ever be able to find peace, or will he continue to be caught in the web of Jada's never-ending drama? At this point, many are left wondering if Will and Jada's marriage is beyond repair. It's a sad reality for anyone who's watched them go through the highs and lows of their public relationship. Whether or not they can ever find their way back to happiness, only time will tell. What's clear is that Will Smith deserves more than what he's been given, and it may be time for him to finally step out of the shadow of Jada's entanglements and take control of his own narrative.